Hello students, welcome to Brilliant Online Classes. In this class, we are going to discuss about the structure of an atom. Earlier, there was a scientist called as John Dalton who has given an idea about an atom. What he said is, atom is indivisible and also neutral. That means atom is the smallest and tiniest particle on this earth. But later on, this particular concept was proved to be wrong after the inception of J.J. Thomson and also Goldstein. So these two great scientists, they have proved that atom consists of certain subatomic particles and also elementary particles. According to Thomson, an atom contains negative charged particles. According to Goldstein, an atom contains positive charged particles. Using these two concepts into the consideration, we have structured the model of an atom. What did Thomson say? According to Thomson, this is the structure of an atom. It looks like a watermelon. In a watermelon, what do we observe? We observe the red fleshy mass and also some black seeds which are embedded in it. According to Thomson, what he said is the red fleshy mass is considered to be the positive charge, whereas the black seeds embedded in it is referred to the negative charge. So according to Thomson, this positive charge and negative charge are in equal magnitude. Therefore, the positive and the negative species will be giving you an overall neutral charge. In this way, he said that atom remains neutral and also contains positive and also negative charged particles. So with this, we have finished the Thomson's model of an atom. So this model was agreed by almost all the people when one defect came in the middle. What was that particular defect of Thomson? Suppose if an atom contains positive and negative particles together, their charges must internally cancel with each other and the atom should collapse. But still an atom is sustaining with equal amount of positive and negative charges. How is it possible? When people started questioning like this, there was no answer with Thomson, and hence the Thomson's model was discarded. Then later on, one more scientist known as Ernst Rutherford, he came into the lighting, and then he has put forward one more model of an atom called as Rutherford's model of an atom. For this, how did he explain? He has taken into consideration an experiment called as an alpha ray scattering experiment. So what is that? Alpha ray scattering experiment. So in this alpha ray scattering experiment, he has shown clearly how does an atom behave. For this, what did he take? He has taken a radioactive substance. Maybe it can be a radium, uranium, polonium, plutonium, etc. We can take any radioactive substance. And he has selected radium as a radioactive substance. And this radioactive substance, the nature is it will be emitting alpha particles. It will be emitting alpha particles. Now, what is an alpha particle? A positive charged particle is considered to be an alpha particle. So, these alpha particles can be emitted through this particular metal. And these radiations are very powerful and also harmful. So, they must be stored carefully. So what did he do for this? He has selected a lead box. You can see there the lead box also. A lead box is a box where the radiations cannot be emitted out. So now he has kept this particular metal into the lead box and arranged a small aperture. A small hole is kept to this so that the radiations can be emitted when we require. So we can see the setup there clearly. So from that box, through that slit or through that aperture, the radiations will be coming. What is the nature of a radiation? Radiations, once they are emitted out, they will be changing their directions because they are free to move in all directions. So before they change their direction, because we need to capture the radiations to study the nature of the particle. So what did we do? We have arranged 2 to 3 lead plates with small apertures coinciding with the aperture of that particular lead box. So now the aperture of lead box and the apertures of the lead plates are coinciding with each other. Now, after this particular lead plates, what did he do? He has arranged a zinc sulfide screen which is fluorescent in nature. What is it? Fluorescent zinc sulfide screen has been arranged in a circular orbit. Like now, in this particular zinc sulfide screen, he has arranged a golden foil. A gold foil is arranged in the middle, so that these radiations goes straight and strike to the gold foil. You can observe there the movement of the particles also. Now, with this, the complete setup is being done. Along with this, what did he do? He has arranged a particular telescope also to study the nature of the particles. Now, let us see what is the experiment about. Once the radiations are being emitted from the lead box, that means from this radium, the particles are emitted. What kind of particles are they? Alpha particles, which are positive in nature. So these alpha particles are now emitted. They are passing through the lead plates with the slits, and then they are going and striking straight onto the gold foil. Why did he select the gold foil there? Because there the scintillations which are emitted striking to that will be glowing, and we can understand the nature of the particle very clearly. So he has selected the gold foil right now. Now these particles are going and these radiations are going and striking onto the gold foil. Now what is happening? What did he observe? Let us see his observations. He has observed 3 various observations. We can note it down. What is the first observation? The first observation is most of the radiations are going straight, are passing through the gold foil. What is the first observation? Most of the radiations are passing through the gold foil. What is the second observation? Second observation is he found that few particles which are getting emitted, they are getting deflected with larger angles. What was the first observation? Most of the radiations are passing through in a straight line without any deviation. And the second observation is few radiations are getting deflected with larger angles. Now what is the third one? Very, very few, means 1 out of 12,000 we can consider it. So those radiations are reflected back with the same angle. So what are the 3 observations? First one, most of the radiations are passing through in a straight line. Second one, few are going with deflected with large angles. And third one, very, very few are getting reflected with the same angle back. So basing on these 3 observations, he has given us 3 conclusions. What are those 3 conclusions? First one, most of the space inside the atom is empty because as almost all the particles or the radiations are going in a straight line and there is no any kind of obstacle. So what did he confirm? Most of the space is vacant. Then second conclusion is what? As few radiations are getting deflected, he said that the central part is having a nucleus with a positive charge. These radiations are positive charged particles, we have already said. Since the radiations are in positive charge and the nucleus is also a positive charge, this positive and that positive will repel each other, and hence, as per the second observation, few of the radiations are getting deflected. So what is the third conclusion? As very few particles are getting reflected, the size of this nucleus must be very small. So these are the three conclusions given. What is the first conclusion? The first conclusion is most of the space inside the atom is empty. Second conclusion, the nucleus is centered inside the atom with a positive charge. And the third conclusion is this nucleus is a very small sized. So these are the three conclusions based upon his three observations. Now, based upon the three observations and the three conclusions, he has formulated three postulates to explain the structure of an atom. Based on the observations and conclusions given by Rutherford, what would be the structure of an atom, or what could be the model of an atom? According to Rutherford, an atom has a positive charged nucleus in the center surrounded by negative charged electrons. And the second point is these electrons are revolving around the nucleus in various orbits. And the third one is the size of the nucleus is very small when compared to the size of the atom. So these are the three postulates given by Rutherford. So what is the first postulate? The nucleus is in the center with a positive charge. Second one is electrons are revolving around the nucleus. And third one is the nucleus is very small. So with this, what happens? The Rutherford's structure of an atom is completed. When Rutherford has given this particular structure of an atom, again people started questioning him back. What is that particular question? Suppose if an electron is revolving around the nucleus, it would undergo acceleration. And with this acceleration, definitely these electrons should radiate energy. And if these electrons are radiating energy, they will be losing their energy and they must be attracted towards the nucleus. And at one instant, these particular electrons which are getting attracted by the nucleus must collide with the nucleus and should get collapsed. But still, an atom is sustaining. But still, an atom is having electrons and protons equally. How could it be possible? So that was his drawback. And to explain this drawback, we have one more scientist known as Niels Bohr. Niels Bohr, along with Bury, he has come up with the modern structure of an atom, which we will be seeing in the next class.